Jim Mora is about to say the word playoffs 3 times and accidentally erase 25 years of professional excellence from public memory. November 25, 2001, Indianapolis. He walks into a press conference after losing a football game by 19 points. A reporter makes a comment, and in the next 8 seconds, this man will overwrite 125 wins, 2 championships, and the transformation of an entire franchise. Gone. Replaced by a single word repeated 3 times. It became one of the most famous sports meltdowns ever captured on camera.
Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
You've seen this clip. Everyone has. It's been replayed millions of times on YouTube, turned into beer commercials, quoted by strangers on the internet who have no idea who Jim Mora actually is. It sits alongside Herm Edwards' "You play to win the game" rant in the pantheon of iconic coaching meltdowns. But here's what nobody talks about. This wasn't a man losing control. This was a man who had already made a very deliberate communication decision, a smart one, and then watched it collapse in real time because of a single sentence he didn't see coming.
Oh, you play to win the game.
Jim Mora was not some mediocre coach who snapped. He was an Eagle Scout. His college roommate was Jack Kemp, future congressman, future presidential candidate. Mora played tight end at Occidental College, then spent decades building one of the most impressive coaching records in professional football. In the USFL, he went 48-13, won 2 championships. Then the New Orleans Saints hired him. The Saints at that point were famous for exactly one thing: losing. In their first 19 years of existence, they'd barely won anything. Jim Mora, in 11 seasons, won more games than they had in all those years combined. He gave New Orleans its first winning season, its first playoff appearance. He won Coach of the Year. Then he took over the Indianapolis Colts. Peyton Manning's second year, Mora coached them to 13-3. His son, Jim Mora Jr., would later become an NFL head coach himself. Eventually fired too, a strange echo of what was about to happen to his father. And then the 2001 season started falling apart. The Colts' star running back, Edgerrin James, who'd led the entire NFL in rushing 2 years in a row, tears his ACL. Marvin Harrison, one of the greatest receivers in NFL history, couldn't carry the offense alone. The team starts losing. By November 25th, they're 4-6. The San Francisco 49ers have just beaten them 40-21. Peyton Manning threw 4 interceptions, 5 turnovers total. Mora walks into the press conference, and here's the part nobody notices. Before a single question is asked, Jim Mora makes a move. Watch what he does first. He doesn't sit down and say questions. He opens with this: "Don't blame that game on the defense. When you turn the ball over 5 times, 4 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown, 3 others in field position to set up touchdowns, you ain't gonna beat anybody. 5 turnovers, 4 interceptions, 1 pick 6, 3 setting up scoring drives. Every single number points in the same direction, at the offense." Because the press had been attacking his defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio, for weeks. The defense was giving up 31+ points per game, and reporters wanted blood. So before anyone could ask a question, Mora quietly decided what tonight was going to be about. Not the defense, the offense. When you lead with specific sequential data like that, you create a gravity well. The room starts orbiting your evidence instead of their assumptions. Mora's opening statement was structurally excellent communication. It worked. For about 45 seconds.
When you turn the ball over 5 times, 4 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown, 3
A local TV reporter named Tim Bragg speaks up. And here's the strange part. He doesn't ask a question. He makes a statement. "Hey, you're probably going to have to win out to make the playoffs." Mora doesn't even hear him the first time. "What's that?" Bragg repeats himself. And the second time the word playoffs enters the room, something breaks.
Pitiful. What's that? Playoffs?
Most people watch this and see a man losing his temper. That's the surface. Slow it down. Listen to the word playoffs 3 times in a row. The first time, disbelief. He's confirming he heard what he thinks he heard. The inflection goes up, it's almost a whisper. The second time, the pitch rises, the volume doubles. It's no longer a question, it's an accusation. He's saying, "You actually think this word belongs in this room right now?" Third time, full volume. The word has been completely emptied of its original meaning. It no longer refers to postseason football. It now means delusion itself. Same word, 3 repetitions. 3 completely different meanings. Most people do this accidentally when they're upset. But watch what happens when someone does it on purpose. In a negotiation, in a meeting, in a conflict. You take the other person's keyword and you repeat it back with escalating disbelief. Each repetition strips the word of its authority. By the third time, the word sounds absurd. Trial lawyers do this in cross-examination. A prosecutor repeats a defendant's alibi back to them, each time with slightly more incredulity. Parents do this to teenagers. A party? You want to go to a party? A party? By the third repetition, the teenager isn't defending their plan anymore. They're defending the very idea that a party is a reasonable concept.
I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game.
But here's when this technique backfires. And it's exactly what happened to Mora. When you escalate repetition in a moment of genuine emotion, you don't control where it lands. You demolish the other person's word, but you also demolish your own composure. The room stops hearing your argument and starts watching your performance. Mora destroyed the word playoffs. But the word took him with it. After 3 rounds of playoffs, Mora says, "I just hope we can win a game. Another game." The reporter's frame was, "Will you win enough to make the playoffs?" Mora's reframe was, "I'm not sure we can win one more game." He doesn't lower the bar, he drops the floor. In one sentence, he moves the audience from postseason football to basic survival. From "Can you compete for a championship?" to "Can you compete at all?"
Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game. Another game.
Imagine you're in a product meeting. Someone asks about your third quarter growth targets. You say, "Growth targets? I'm trying to make sure we still have paying customers in August." Every question that follows will be framed within your new baseline, not theirs. But this only works if you stay composed enough to use it as a tool. Mora used it as an outburst. The room didn't recalibrate. The room reached for their cameras. Now here's what almost nobody knows about this press conference. Mora wasn't just frustrated about the game, he was defending someone. Vic Fangio, his defensive coordinator, was being scapegoated by the press and the front office. The Colts president, Bill Polian, wanted Fangio fired. The media was piling on. Mora's opening statement, that careful, data-driven redirect blaming the offense, was a shield for Fangio. And then a reporter casually mentioned playoffs, and the shield shattered because Mora couldn't contain the pressure he'd been absorbing for weeks. After the season, Polian gave Mora a choice: fire Fangio or lose your job. Mora refused. Both were fired on January 8, 2002. "I got fired because I wouldn't fire Vic." That's the sentence nobody quotes. That's the sentence that never became a meme. That's the sentence that tells you exactly who Jim Mora was. A man who chose his friend over his career. But that's not what the world remembers. The world remembers 8 seconds. And here's the part that makes this story almost unbearable. Tony Dungy replaced Mora as head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. With essentially the same roster, Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, Edgerrin James, Dungy built that team into a dynasty. In 2006, 5 years after the playoffs rant, Coors Light put Mora's soundbite in a beer commercial. That same year, Manning and Dungy won Super Bowl XLI with the same franchise that fired Mora. The thing Mora found laughably impossible happened the year his meltdown became a punchline.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? Playoffs?
Taste the cold of Coors Light.
In 2011, ESPN sat Mora down for an interview. They played the raw clip for him. He'd never watched it. 10 years. A decade of being defined by 8 seconds he'd never actually seen from the outside. Watch his face in that 2011 interview as the clip plays. He smiles. But it's the smile of a man watching his own funeral from a window.
Yeah, I'm worried that that's going to be my legacy, you know. We won some games when I was coaching.
Go back to that press conference one more time. But now, don't watch Mora. Watch the room. Nobody interrupts. Nobody pushes back. Nobody tries to de-escalate or redirect. Nobody says, "Coach, what I meant was," they let it happen. Because a man falling apart in front of you is more compelling than any answer he could give. The room didn't want information. The room wanted the moment. You can set the frame. You can lead with data. You can protect your people. You can be strategically brilliant for 90% of the conversation. But the room is always waiting for the 10% where you stop performing and start revealing. That's what goes viral. That's what gets quoted. That's what outlives everything else you've ever said.
That's the standard by which all coaching rants should be measured, is Jim Mora's playoff rant.
Jim Mora had the right instinct. Defend your people, lead with evidence, control the narrative. And he did all of that. For about a minute. Then a reporter said one word, not even as a question, just a statement. And the frame he built collapsed because the emotion underneath it was bigger than the structure on top. Your frame is only as strong as the feeling it's containing. If the pressure inside is greater than the architecture outside, one word in the wrong place, and the whole thing comes apart in public. Jim Mora is 91 years old. He won 125 NFL games. He turned 2 broken franchises into winners. He chose loyalty over self-preservation. He was, by every reasonable measure, one of the most accomplished coaches of his generation. And none of that fits in 8 seconds.